Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to EE's first roundtable discussion. What we're going to do every week is try to discuss the major implications of updates made to RuneScape and how you can make the most efficient use of them. Today, we're going to be talking about the second batch of ports, going over what you need to know and information to maximize your return in terms of experience, as well as getting your comp and trim cape back, which I know many people are eager for. So just some background info. Player Ports is a mini game that requires 90 skills to access. There were 3 new adventures added today, which were Cooking, Hunter, and what was the last one, Andrew?
Construction.
Construction.
Cooking, Hunter, and Construction. So basically, you need 90 in those resources and in those skills in order to attract those adventurers. Yeah, so you started off, Andrew.
All right, so I think the first thing we should talk about is how to utilize ports in the long run for the most efficient XP gains possible. Um, Cooking and construction are pretty fast skills already, so I don't think that those are really relevant. And Hunter can primarily be done doing divination. So I think that the best strategy for most players is still going to be focusing on getting chi globes in order to make sea singer robes, preferably robe bottoms as they give the most XP per chi globe for rune crafting experience. Now, the most important thing from this update is the addition of the trader, who's located in the southeast corner of the port. And essentially what the trader does is every day you are given the option to trade a random resource for a random trade good. So that resource could be bamboo, it could be steel, it could be the new resources, and the trade good is also completely random. So basically, whenever you have the option, you should trade your resources for chi globes. Now, you may not get chi globes often enough in order to spend your resources as quickly as you're getting them. So what remains to be seen is what's going to be the most efficient trade good to trade for besides chi globes, like in order to spend the rest of your resources.
Right. Which I think there's a good chance that that is between lacquer and the koi scales slash pearls, because crafting, although it is a fairly quick skill, it is quite expensive. So for the same reason, a lot of people choose to do loom in the Citadel. A lot of people are going to want to get those trade goods. Also, for people who are closer to 200 mil all skills, you're probably going to want to get steel plates, because smithing is, although it is a warbandable skill, you may not have time to do that entirely to 200 mil. So another thing we want to just mention real quick is that there doesn't appear to be any addition to the buildings that you can construct in player-owned ports to aid your voyages in order to make a higher success rate for your crew. With that being said, as you go through these 2 new regions, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to focus on upgrading your ships, the individual parts of your ship, starting with the rudder, in order to do faster voyages, followed by expanding your crew into each region. Now, once you go into each of these regions, you're going to be able to get new resources called Azure and Terracotta. These things are going to be used not only for new ship parts and new crew, but also you can trade them in with the trader as well. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Now, the rewards. The rewards are the Leviathan Ring, the Reef Walker Cape, and Death Lotus darts. Do we want to take a quick stab at those? Any look useful or not useful?
Well, the Deathlower stats might be useful for. Someone mentioned on my team speak that they might be useful for chinning, but I think Ascensions are still way better. And I don't think anyone's going to craft them because don't they take ancient bones to make?
They do
Right.
take ancient bone and
Yeah.
ascension shards, whatever those are.
Yeah, which I just don't think anyone's ever going to make them
Yeah. So
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure people. It'll probably be more GP to make scrimshaws, and scrimshaw untradeable scrimshaws are way more useful.
Yeah, and the
Right.
ring only gives like 2.2 for the untradeable and 2.4 for the what no, 2.2 for the tradable and 2.4 for the untradeable crit bonus in all skills, and you can get the 6-age circuit for free, which gives 2.7, so it's kind of useless.
Right. Now the
But
added
the
bonus
good thing
for the
about the
ring. Continue,
sorry, go
Omid.
on.
Sorry.
Well, the good thing about the ring is there's a 5% chance of blocking 50% damage, which might not sound like much, but you have to remember that some people actually wear 3 pieces of War Priest to PVM uh, areas like Virago and Nex, which has a 3% chance of blocking 90% damage. So it might be essentially worth it to replace like a Ring of Vigor for PVM situations, but I really doubt it.
Right.
That's it.
So, except for those nuanced situations, maybe a Barrows or probably not a Virago as you're looking to, have high DPS. The Leviathan ring doesn't look to be all that useful. Additionally, the Reef Walker cape, the bonuses that it gives, which are armor and LP, have already been incorporated into the regular completionist cape and the trimmed completionist cape. So you won't see a lot of people using the Reef Walker cape as it takes incredibly high skills to do player-owned ports already. And many of those players are going to have the comp or the trim comp, which, as we all know, is quite future-proof. So most people already expected any potential bonuses to the Reef Walker cape to be incorporated into the completionist. So now we're just going to talk about quickly how long it's going to take to get your completionist cape or trimmed completionist cape back, and just some quick tips for doing that. So do you want to go through what we decided, Andrew?
Yeah, based on some early calculations, we don't really know exactly how long it'll take yet, but it looks like it's going to take around 184 voyages based on distance to those voyages in the pincers taking around 8 hours each to unlock the loop, which is the next region. So assuming that you're doing 2 rounds per day or 8 voyages per day, it should take around 23 days to unlock the loop. However, a lot of people started with 27 or 30% of that already done. So it'll take actually around 16 days for people to reach the loop. Then after that, we don't know how long it'll take to get to the shield, but going on the increase from region to region that we've seen in the past, it'll probably take around 210 voyages. So that's slightly over 26 days. So just a ballpark estimate, if it takes 16 days to get to the loop and 26 to the shield, it'll take around 42 days for people to start getting to the shield and getting their completion escapes back.
Okay. So looking at that, one thing that I want to mention is that a lot of people are going to go for scrolls first, and that may add a little bit of time to reaching the two regions. And there is a benefit to doing that, though, going for the scrolls first. One thing we learned from the first ports update was that scroll voyages increase in time as you go through regions. However, they only ever give 1/4 of a scroll. So you're going to want to do those actually in pincers if you receive them, because it will save you time overall. So that will extend, the time to get your comp cape or trimmed comp cape back slightly. But it's definitely going to be worth it. Also, the comp cape rec is kind of simple. It's just getting the Reef Walker cape. So that is something that a lot of people are going to focus on. Um, just something to keep in mind. So another thing we want to discuss possibly is potential updates for the future for ports. I was thinking more buildings is definitely in order. We received a new random event, but maybe some other random events to make more use of trade goods, some type of gambling function. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I definitely think
Yeah,
that there should be new buildings. And we
yeah,
also don't
definitely new
know yet.
buildings.
I mean, there will probably be new crew members in the new regions, but we also don't know if there are going to be higher level captains yet.
Yes. So before we had rare 10K captains, which had base 700 in their specialty stat and base 350 in their non-specialty stats. So one thing that a lot of players were eager to see if there was a super rare 25K chime captain at any point or a 50K chime captain, and we found out that that was not the case. One thing that we're definitely eager to see with this expansion and possibly future ports expansions is if there are rarer captains or better captains unlockable in the future. Another thing that we may look at is having adventurers join your crew. That was something that was discussed as a possibility, but it was basically only used for story missions or using them as possible captains for your crew. That would be something that I would be interested in seeing in the future. So,
Multiple ship
yeah,
voyages.
continue. Yes. So something that Argaios is alluding to that I discussed with him earlier was actually assembling an armada and doing voyages that took multiple ships to complete. Now, this would allow for super difficult voyages, probably with a high rate of failure, but giving the best rewards yet from ports, and that's something we definitely look forward to in the future. So with that, those are our preliminary thoughts on Ports Batch 2 and some things we've seen / are looking forward to. Oh yes,
Oxhead was nerfed.
Omid is reminding me that Oxhead and Horseface, the special crew member from Pincers that existed before today's update, is now a 1,000 all stats, which basically means instead of being 1,200 and it being useful in dual stat voyages, it is only useful or better than a regular specialty crew member when you are doing a 3-stat, a seafaring morale in combat mission. So that is definitely going to change the makeup of the perfect crew roster, which we're not going to even pretend to know what it is yet because of the possible specialty crew members in the following 2 regions. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you have a million Oxhead and Horseface, you might be disadvantaged, but if you
have
if
25,
you don't, yeah,
you're in trouble.
yeah.
Yeah, that I didn't like that about this update because it basically restricted their usability quite a bit. But what I did like about this update was that obviously you're going to be going for the ship upgrades first, and I liked that there was always some uncertainty in terms of which hull to use because at the highest level there was only a morale hull and a combat hull, and there was no seafaring, so you would almost never use the seafaring one. But with this update they've introduced, and we won't be able to get it until we reach the shield, but now there's a hull which provides 1325 in all of the base stats. So that eliminates some of the time with you going in and changing your ship's upgrades.
Right, which we all know we like to get our boats out as quickly as possible. So yeah, with that being said, next week we're going to be looking to discuss Hades, Skull, and Ear, the Valkyrie, which are additions to the game that have happened in the past, except for Ear, and they're going to be giving combat bonus XP as well as woodcutting or agility bonus XP and divination or prayer bonus XP. Besides that, the world event ends January 20th. As a reminder to those who haven't gotten all the rewards they are looking for yet, make sure to get that done. And yeah, so next update day, whether it be Tuesday or Wednesday, we will be uploading another roundtable discussion, and we look forward to hearing your questions and comments. Yeah, so see you then. Happy scaping.